Hey everyone, it's Sarah. I thought I would film hopefully a quick video update to say what's up with me for all the people on my channel for bar. Unfortunately, this means Sarah is not back, not yet. So as a lot of you know, I've had a lot of health challenges this last, oh my word, almost 15 months now, so a little more than a year. Last fall, I was diagnosed with microscopic colitis. So if you know Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, it's in the same kind of family as those. There are 3 different presentations of microscopic colitis, and I have lymphocytic. In short, too many, the large intestine becomes inflamed, too many white blood cells go there, and it's just kind of this unfortunate cycle. So I was fortunate enough last October now, I had a colonoscopy and everything looked fine. So the weird thing about microscopic colitis is everything looks fine. I wouldn't say to the naked eye, but to the scope. And they take a biopsy, they biopsy at different sites in the colon. And when they look at a microscope, then they can see what's happening. That's microscopic colitis. So some of y'all know I've been on some treatments for the last 9 months, more or less. And yeah, so that's kind of why I'm here. 2 reasons. 1, what the heck happened? And 2, just kind of a lookout or a warning for y'all. So the first line treatment for things like this are normally corticosteroids. I took one called budesonide. So corticosteroids, cortisone-based steroids, used for lots of different things. One of the most common ones that you might know is prednisone. Budesonide, I don't fully understand the mechanism, but it's supposed to stay within the intestinal tract, within the digestive system, and not have other side effects. You can see where this is going. So my first course was 3 months. It was pretty incredible. I was almost back to normal after a month. And what I mean by say normal, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of the symptoms, but you've probably had food poisoning or gastroenteritis or something where your digestive tract is just off. And that's how I describe microscopic colitis, is it's off, it's wonky, it keeps trying to reset itself, but it can't because of the inflammation that's still there. So budesonide is really good at reducing the inflammation, and then your digestive tract goes back to normal. So tract. So yeah, so it worked. And then unfortunately had a flare in the spring. That was entirely my bad. I'd been working out more because I had more energy and just became a little sore, kind of some muscle and also some joint pain. So I took ibuprofen, and guess what is one of the biggest irritants for microscopic colitis? So that happened. So then went back, Dr. B, my gastroenterologist, he's fantastic. He had said, look, let's just get rid of this once and for all. And we're going to do a 5.5 month course of budesonide. And it felt pretty miraculous because it was working. And then weird stuff started happening to my body. First of all, I was hungry all the time. I would just ate. And I tried to stick to my normal diet, just more. So, more chicken thighs and more salad. And there was more chocolate in there, let's be honest. But I eat a pretty healthy diet normally. I was just hungry all the time. And then I started gaining weight, and a lot of weight. I don't actually weigh myself. I don't have a scale. But I had to buy all new pants. And normally when I, weight fluctuates, that's natural, that's normal. So this is not about, oh my gosh, I gained weight, but more that it was different for me, and it all came in around the abdomen. So normally when I gain weight, it's pretty spread out throughout the body. And then my face, you can see it's still a little round, but it was, my face became super round. And you might be able to see some of it still. I am wearing a little bit of foundation today. Acne. I've never had acne in my life. Never, ever, ever. Acne covering my entire face, and then body acne too, because let's have more fun. Lots of dark hair coming in on the chin, on the upper lip, the outer cheeks, and the forehead. So you can see, there's no color. I have no pigment. So it's pretty obvious. And then stretch marks everywhere. Stretch marks, bright purpley red stretch marks everywhere. So this was just weird. And so it was this weird thing where the medicine was working, but all these other things were happening. I'm trying to figure out, is that related to that? Or I think you look to your own behavior and say, well, is there something that I'm not doing right? Because I was exercising the same, I was eating the same, I was sleeping the same, I was doing the best that I could. So that's where the current state was. I stopped budesonide 3 weeks ago. And I thought, okay, just let's see, can my body go back to normal? Steroids are an appetite generator. And then last Wednesday, I got my first cold in almost 2 years. Forgot what that feels like. Oh, it feels like you've been run over by a truck. And I woke up the next morning and my body was in full-blown colitis flare. I was so bummed. And it just made me think, oh my gosh, is this what's going to happen when I get sick? Is that it's going to trigger all of that because of the way that the white blood cells work. And there's some debate on whether things like microscopic colitis is an autoimmune disorder. Some people say yes, some people say no. There's no agreement on that, but then that's concerning. So I was able to do not have an appointment for another couple of weeks with Dr. B, my gastroenterologist, but I was able to talk with him and say, look, we need something different. And my husband would want you to know that he's not a doctor, but plays a doctor in his spare time, was the one who had diagnosed me with what had actually happened. So I saw my general practitioner yesterday, Dr. M. She's great. And Dr. M had said, yeah, I think you have Cushing syndrome. So if you're not familiar with Cushing syndrome, it happens when your body has too much cortisone. Not surprisingly, it's very common in people who go on steroid treatments. And so it's rounding of face, lots of waking on the abdomen, acne, trouble sleeping, fatigue. It can progress to getting a hump on the upper back. Osteoporosis is a common thing that comes from Cushing syndrome. The good news is it's completely reversible. So almost 9 months on steroids, I guess I'm thinking hopefully almost 9 months off, it will all go back. So it was really validating to say, okay, yeah, this is real and that's not normal, and steroids are not good for you. So it's so frustrating, y'all, because it works, but it's this huge hammer and it just smashes everything in its sight. So I am still in the middle of a flare. I feel awful. You get in this weird thing with I don't know if anyone else has gastro issues, but you get in this weird cycle where you're dealing with all these symptoms like the bloating and the pain, and then you don't want to eat. And oh, by the way, I'm also on my favorite diet, the low residue, low fiber, gluten-free, dairy-free diet. So I'm eating plain chicken and fish. I'm eating rice pasta, potatoes. Oh, and sweet potatoes. I'm eating cooked carrots. I get a little bit of avocado in there for the fat, peanut butter for fat. So this is I've been eating this for the last week, and it's until things stabilize. Like, this is what I get to eat. But yeah, you just feel tired. You don't want to eat. Also, you don't want to eat. At some point, you don't want to eat this food, and then you don't want to move. Like, I love exercising. I just naturally love that. I don't want to exercise because I feel tired. And so then I think I'll sit on the couch and then I'll have a lot of energy, and then I'm not getting the same energy from food. Anyway, it's this cycle that's not great. So I'm trying to move through that and accept it for what it is. And also this last week, all I've been doing is walking and yoga, and that's been good. So there are 2 medicines that we could start on, and my GP was laughing, my general practitioner, because of course my gastroenterologist picked the harder one. The one I'm not taking is called mesalamine. You might be familiar with it. It's pretty common in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis patients. But there's a disorder that goes alongside with colitis, and IBS is another one, which I also have, and that is bile acid malabsorption. So if you don't know anything about bile, I've learned more about bile in the last couple of weeks than I ever wanted to know. But bile is created in the liver, produced in the liver, stored in the gallbladder, and then goes into the digestive system, mainly the small intestine, to start doing things like breaking down fats. At the end of the small intestine, it's supposed to be reabsorbed into the body, mainly. And for people who have bile acid malabsorption, as you can imagine, it doesn't get absorbed, and then it goes to the colon. And unfortunately, when it gets to the large intestine or the colon, it brings in all this water and salt. And again, think of this is already 5 to 6 feet of tubing that's inflamed, and now you're bringing more things to inflame it. And so a lot of people who have this also might have bile acid malabsorption. So I'm actually glad that it tells me he's on top of things, because a lot of gastroenterologists will just biopsy and colonoscopy and procedure, and they won't ever get around to this. So I even brought some for samples. It makes me think, oh my gosh, of my anxiety days when I was trying all these different anxiety medications. So this is, I'm going to say it wrong. Y medication. Cholestyramine. And if you can hear the noise, it's because it's orange flavored powder. So what this does is this binds the extra bile acid in the intestines, so that you can, instead of absorbing it, your body will just pass it, which is fine. So this lovely thing is actually used for cholesterol. All right, it's an old school medication for people who have high cholesterol, because, and I'm not going to do this right, but basically bile and cholesterol are linked. Go to MayoClinic.com, you'll learn everything you know. So this is a grainy powder, and you put it in water. And I put it in the water the first time, and I could not choke it down. And then my husband said, we have pineapple juice in the pantry. I was like, yes. So now I mix this with pineapple juice, and actually I put water in it to dilute it a little bit. So now every morning, every night, I get to drink this stuff. I could almost chug it now in one go. And so this will let my doctor know if I have bile acid malabsorption. What makes this tough though is I already take medication for my generalized anxiety disorder, and you have to take your medication an hour before you have this, or 4 hours after. And so, like, as someone who already takes a lot of different medication, it just was, first, it felt like just a nightmare to figure out, okay, well, then I have to. So, what time do I have to get up to take my medicine? But because then you have to drink this with food, so you can avoid being nauseous. So I haven't had any nausea, thank goodness. So this is fun. I'm up to 2 a day. I can go up to 4 a day. Isn't this fun? So I'm making light of it, but I'm trying to embrace it, because the budesonide works, but I really do not want to go back there unless anything else doesn't work. So this is what we're trying. If this doesn't work, then the mesalamine is just a regular pill. And then if that doesn't work, then I think we go hardcore, and that's immunosuppressants. I don't quite understand how that works. And then infusions would be the next thing, so biologic infusions. And then the options get a lot worse related to surgery. So I am hopeful. I would rather be drinking this with pineapple juice. And so that's the other thing. They don't really know. Colitis sometimes goes away on its own. It tends to appear in people in their 50s and 60s. So, of course, a lot earlier than that. So it's possible in a couple years this will pass. It could also be a lifelong condition. So I still feel the same way that I did when my generalized anxiety disorder came, which was, I'm going to do anything I have to do. I'm going to try anything I have to try to get back to being normal. Well, normal, as normal as I am, just to be able to do the things that I love. So I'm so thankful this is happening during the pandemic, because I'm at home, I can work from home, I can get food that's healthy for my dietary restrictions right now. So really, really thankful for that. And I know this is mental health week, so I was thinking, the reason I filmed this, I was thinking about filming a video about mental health and mental health awareness, and this came instead. So, but the other thing to think is that there's definitely a mental toll in the mental illness from this, and just thinking about it, and really try not to let myself go into catastrophic thinking or those things that are really negative. So that's the update. This took longer than I wanted it to take, but it is what it is. So thanks y'all for listening. And again, just a plug to, take care of yourself, take care of your digestive system. It really does make a big difference. And if you start to hear this or other stories like this and you think, oh, this could be a thing for me, then go see a gastroenterologist and get the help that you need, because there is help. I feel really discouraged right now because of what's happened, but there was 9 months and there were things were going okay. So I have hope that at some point I can find something that will give me some benefit without the side effect. And that's what a lot of medication was. That's what the anxiety journey was for me, was okay, what will help me feel less anxious and not have all these other things. All right, that's it. Thanks, y'all. I hope to be in a better place soon. I'm really hoping in the new year, let's be honest, in the new year, that I can get back in the channel and also start filming some parfaits for y'all. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.